Hi, you guys. So, I just wanted to come on here and share a few things, and I'll be sharing quite a bit today. But I want y'all to know when I think of my gang stalkers, I think of Judah. God says He released His anger of fire on Judah, and that fire will burn forever, due to the sins that he was doing. And now I'm not God, so I can't say that's what God's going to do to our gang stalkers. But let me leave you with this verse, and this is what God does say in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 5. This says the Lord: Cursed is the man who trusts in men and makes flesh his strength, whose hearts turn away from the Lord. He is like a shrub in the desert and shall not see any good. He shall not see any good come. He shall dwell in the parched places of wilderness and in unhabitat salt land. So that's important because to me, if you read the Bible and you listen to what God says, like what our gang stalkers what they're doing to us, just it's not okay. The sins and the hatefulness and the turmoil that they're trying to cause for us, and put us through all the obstacles that we're having to like jump over, and you know just the hurdles that they have put in our life just to be malicious and just to be mean and to be hateful. And some of them are doing it for money, and it clearly says in the Bible, the money is the root of all evil. um I just don't think that they're going to get away with everything that they think that they are. And I don't care how high and mighty they believe they are. I don't care how much money they have or how little money they have. Everyone at the end of the day will um, reap their consequences. I've always told my children, you know, you reap what you sow. Karma always comes back to you. Watch how you treat people. Watch how you talk to people. Hey, be careful with what you do and say. A lot of people read me incorrectly because I'm just extremely direct. And I mean, I don't try to be, because I'm a really nice person, but I don't know how to fake it, to be honest. I don't know how to, like, I've said it before, when people like do the fake laughing and and I just can't do that. I don't know. I've always been that way. I wish I could be like, fake it, or just, I'm just not that way though. So, but today what I wanted to share with you guys, I wanted to just help you guys along your journey. If you feel like you're being gang stalked and you're not sure if you are, um, these are things that you can look for to see. And I would tell you, I believe, because they like to play like they like to play a trick on your mind, they like to place false illusions. And I don't know if they're really, I mean, they're obviously generating these pictures. I believe they use Adobe quite a bit, AI maybe. But for instance, these are things that you can look for to see if, like, and if you are paying attention and you do see these things and they are what I'm fixing to tell you, then you're most likely being gang stalked. You're most likely being harassed, whether that's by the government or other people or someone who's hacked your phone, whatever the case is. But so I go, my phone company's with, I think it's called Metro by T-Mobile, or yeah, Metro by T-Mobile is what I believe it is. But when you open up your phone and you haven't been on it like in, a few minutes or whatever, the Metro site will pop up right away, and it gives you like, articles of things. Well, there's pictures that come up, which it's either advertisement or it's talking about, a storyline or whatever. So in these pictures, this is like a little after my dad had passed away. I was seeing like a group of people that, like, went out to this parade. And I want to say it was like the King's Day parade, and I could see images of my dad, like some people that look like my dad in those pictures. Um, and then I mean, it's been numerous things where I've seen a one about vacations, and there was a man that looked. that had the exact same face of my dad to the T. And like, he had a hat on and was dressed different, but it was my dad's face. They do things like that. Or my mom, for instance, she's always like chewed up her fingernails, so she had like, they're kind of like, a little discolored, and they're just really short, where she's always chewed on them. And there's they were advertising like double A batteries, and she's pointing at the batteries like this, so I could clearly see her hands, and I know what my mom's hands look like, and it's my mom's hands pointing at the battery, but it's an advertisement for double A batteries. So just pay attention for things like that. And then I mean, there's lots of things. If you want to know if you have been sex trafficked, or you know, anything like that, the way I figured it out was, I had typed in my city's name. I typed in Lubbock, and I put in like the name of my partner, Lubbock. I'll just make up a name because I don't, I put Lubbock, uh, Trevor, and then I put porn site. And then I clicked on the first one that came up, and like, sure enough, like, that's when I started seeing like my body. Like, it's clearly my body. I know what I look like. I know who I am, and I started seeing other, like, as I started looking through them, and like the more I started looking through other websites, I started seeing other videos of me in these like porn videos. There's like a lot of times either their face is covered up or they're using Adobe, and like, they're not that good. You know what I mean? Like, I could see like, for instance, one of my partners, he wasn't sleeping with me, but he was sleeping with someone else. But I guess he forgot to cover up some of like his birthmarks and stuff, and I could see the birthmarks in the video. Um I I mean, because like I said, if you care about someone, then they're most likely like sleeping with each other. And like, so that's how I figured out like my two of my exes were sleeping together, both men, in a video. And I'm like, wow, that's just crazy. Or there's a video of me, and you can clearly see my eyes. They have my whole face covered up, but my eyes, you can see my eyes. And it's a video of me sleeping with like men that I don't even know, and I know what my body looks like. It was my body. And it's just things like that that you can like do to figure out if you're being if you really are being stalked, or if they're, because I feel like they also try to play illusions. So before I started seeing like the sex videos and the advertisement, the first thing I seen was, I had opened up Pinterest one day. And well, I think Pinterest had given me a they sent me like an email saying that I would be interested in this topic. And I'm like, okay, so I clicked on it. But the reason why I was confused, because I'm like, why would I be interested in a hand that has IV in it? Like, it had like it was like in a hospital room, and there's IV, being connected to like someone's arm. And I clicked on it, and as I started looking through those pictures, that's when I seen pictures of me. I seen pictures of my hand with like IV right here in it, and I seen with my arm. And even whenever I was younger, like when I say younger, I mean there were pictures, and you can clearly see that it was me. I was very tiny and petite, and I always wore like a lot of sweatpants and sweatshirts and stuff. And there's one with me laying on a bed, and like most of my face is covered up, but I'm like this, and I have a sweatshirt on, and it's me. And I have an IV in my arm. So obviously, these people have been doing this to me since I was little. And then as I started looking through all these pictures, I also seen a picture of it looked like a little child, like maybe 3 or 4 years old, that resembled me a lot, quite like a lot. And I don't know what I looked like whenever I was that young, because I only have one picture of me being that young. But I remember like my siblings, my brother, for instance, saying like, how come there's not any pictures of Ashley when she was little? Or I've never seen any baby pictures of Ashley, because my family doesn't have any of me, you know what I mean? So I'm not quite sure exactly what I look like, but from what I look like now and from what I seen on that picture, that child was me. And I was never told I was hospitalized or I was in the hospital, but you can just like look up, like look at things like that. So if you get like a weird notification, or if you go to your Pinterest and you open it up and like things like that are popping up, I think that's their way of seeing it. If like you caught on, like, have you noticed that those are your hands? Have you noticed that they're, because I even seen hands of like my other siblings, like my sisters and stuff. I've seen their hands with the IV in it and laying on a bed, and they looked young too. You know what I mean? So um it's just, I don't know if it's like an AI generated picture, or if it's, to me they look real. They look extremely real. You know, I've seen pictures, or yeah, pictures of my daughter's hands like that. And I remember sending my ex-husband a picture of my daughter Kayla when she may have been like 10 or 11 in this picture. And I know because I used to always braid her hair in two braids like this. And and she's always had an iPhone. So there's a girl in a picture. They always cover their faces. You can't see their faces, but the phone is like this, like covering her face, and she's taking the picture like this, but it's covering her face, but you could see her braids. You can kind of see her eyebrows, and you could see that she had glasses on. And you obviously, I know my kid's hand, and she's in a hospital gown in a hospital taking like a selfie picture, which I sent it to him, and I was like, I know this is my kid, just like you know this is our kid. Like, what the fuck? Because I've never, my daughter's never been in the hospital. She's never been hospitalized. She's never been in a hospital gown like that. So where the heck did this picture come from? And I remember he didn't even reply back to it. He didn't even say like, no, that's not her, or you're crazy, or his thing was, and I've sent him lots of pictures. Well, you can't see their face. Well, of course I can't see their face because y'all try to cover up their face. But I know my kid. I know what my kid, what the hands look like. I know. I mean, I have a recording before they broke my phone of me and my ex husband having this conversation, and me telling him. To me, that was just awkward for me to tell him, like, I'm seeing all these pictures and I'm seeing all these things, and like, I know what my kids look like. I know what I look like. I know what you look like. And him saying, instead of being like, Ashley, that's not true, those pictures are made up, or no, he said you can't prove it. Who says you can't prove it if there's something to prove? Then you know what I mean. So like, as soon as he said that, I knew right there and then, like, and I even told him, like, you saying that statement alone lets me know that you know everything. For you to say you can't prove it, instead of being like, you're crazy, or no, that didn't happen, or those pictures are not us, or no, you can't prove it. And then after I brought that up to him, he said, oh no, you're taking my words wrong, that's not how I meant it. Well, what other way did you mean it? Because I know if I'm innocent and I have no clue what you're talking about, I'm not going to be like, you can't prove it. Like, that's just a stupid statement, you know what I mean? But just things like that to be aware of and pay attention and like watch to see if you're being gang stalked. That's how you can figure out. That's one of the ways. You guys have a great day.